Okay, today we're going to do another type of animation. This one's really cool. It's an animation with a distort filter added. So again, I'm going to use the 960 by 720. That can be found under your recent files or film and video 960 by 720. And this one I'm going to call animation with distort filter. I'm going to click OK or create. And it's going to come up. Comes up with a white background, but I'm going to do the edit fill to fill in my background with a color. I'm going to choose drop down color, and I'm going to pick a nice shade of blue. All right, click OK, and it fills in nicely. This time, I'm going to use my ellipse tool. And I also want to make sure on my options bar that it's set to shape. I'm going to choose a nice dark blue shape. There we go. And I'm going to draw my ellipse kind of off to the left side over here. And it fills in. You'll notice it looks a little bit different than when we were using pixel shapes, and that's okay. And down here we can see it's a shape and not a pixel shape as well. It also added its own layer. Whereas if this were a pixel, it would have put it straight on the background unless we had added another layer. So it did it for us. I'm going to right click out here in this gray area on my layers panel and choose convert to smart object. So it's now converted. Now I've got a different icon down here. I'm going to choose create video timeline. And this time when I pop open my properties, you'll see we have the transform properties, opacity, and style. I want to shorten this up because this one looks a bit better when it's about 3 seconds. So I'm going to click, hold, and drag on my timeline to about 3 seconds and shorten that up a bit. The first thing I'm going to do is make my object, make my ellipse move from one side of the screen to the other. So I'm going to embed an animation in my smart object, just making it move. So I'm going to move it off the screen. I had already turned on the stopwatch before I did that. So now it's off the screen and that's its starting position. I'm going to move my playhead to the other side of the screen. I'll put it at about 3 seconds and move it off to the other side. Now, when I scrub, it just moves across the screen like normal. No big deal. Put my playhead in about the center, and I'm going to go to Filter, Distort, Twirl. This is where I can zoom out and see what it's going to look like. I have it set, that's my twirl. So yours, when you turn it on, might look something like that, but I'm going to move it all the way to the far right. I like a really advanced twirl. I'm going to click OK. So now when I rewind and then hit play, it's going to move slowly because it's trying to render the frames right now. It makes a twirl and then it kind of just hangs out on the screen, and I don't want it to do that. So now I'm going to click hold and drag that keyframe to about 2 seconds and say, okay, this is where I want it to play and end. And now I want to move my playhead off over here to 3 seconds, and I'm going to resize this. It's going to give me a warning window and say it's going to temporarily turn off filters. So I'm going to click OK, and it makes it a circle. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. I'm okay with that. I'm going to make that circle smaller and hit the check mark. So now when I rewind and then hit play, it forms the twirl. The twirl leaves the screen, and instead of just hanging out there, it looks like it flows off of the screen out of view. That's exactly what I want. So I'm going to hit File, Save, and then I'm going to also save this as a GIF. Thank you for watching.